From Boise to Middleton, the 5A and 4A Southern Idaho Conferences feature 20 of the largest schools in Idaho. Highlighting the big plays and big stories from Idaho's biggest schools, this is the SIC Prepcast with Wayne DeZubak.
That's right. It's another edition of the SIC Prepcast here on IdahoSports.com, where we are talking about everything in the Southern Idaho Conference, those 5A and 4A Boise Metro schools. Brandon Maney alongside Wayne DeZubak. Wayne, you were a busy guy last week.
You know, you guys keep me busy to keep me out of trouble, and I got to tell you what, you do a great job. But we had everything, including a Saturday morning game. Bora Mountain View played in that game. And then I had some auto racing at night. I had Boise State football. I had IdahoSports.com football. I had all kinds of stuff. So, you know what? Here we go. And big news today. We've got a new sponsor for our podcast, D.L. Evans Bank. Excited to have them on board. D.L. Evans Bank, of course, here to help you with your next everything. This is community banking, and want to thank everybody down there at D.L. Evans Bank for sponsoring this. They're going to also sponsor the 4A. The 3A, 2A, 1A Prepcast with Logan Green. So love to have him on board. Just excited to have him here. So we got a lot to talk about, though, so we might want to get to it.
Yeah, I just want to echo your comments. It's really exciting to have DL Evans Bank on board as a sponsor of this Prepcast. It's what makes these possible. So thanks to their generous support. Okay, yeah, you mentioned it. Let's dive right into it. As is usual in the Treasure Valley, we started last Thursday, Wayne, with a Thursday night game at Donna Larson Park. You were on the call for it. Actually a close game. Skyview defeats Boise 31-24. What'd you see in that game?
Well, what I liked about that game is, you're going to get my gold star out of that game, no question about that. But we'll talk about that a little later on the show. But what I liked about it is Skyview now 3-0. Okay, and David Young picked up his 100th win at Skyview as a coach in 19 years. So congratulations to Coach Young. I think what's interesting, though, is Skyview is 3-0 on the year. And guess what they are in the Foothills Division of the 5A SIC? They are 0-0. They have not yet played a River Division team, and guess what? They don't do it this week either, okay? They take on Owyhee, who is 0-3, so you got a 3-0 versus an 0-3, and it's a cross-division game. So they still would not, after 4 games, have played anybody in their own division. That's kind of weird, if you ask me.
Yeah, there's only 5 division games now. So if you're filling out an 8 or a 9 game schedule, some schools, it's all going to be backloaded at the end. So let's talk about Boise real quick. They have the season opener that was kind of disappointing, but since then they've had a win and now a very close loss. We kind of talked about maybe Boise starting to turn that corner a little bit. What are you seeing with that Brave program?
What I really liked about the Braves, they had a kid named Braden Anderson as a quarterback. You know, he's kind of interesting. He's 6'1", but he's 235 pounds. He looks more like a linebacker. He does not look like a quarterback when he's out there, but he's a lefty. He can throw. He threw for 356 yards against Skyview. Looked pretty good. Boise had a chance to win that one. Really, they came back. It was 31-17. They came back to make it 31-24, went with the onside kick and actually recovered it. You don't see that very often, but they recovered it. But then they just couldn't make it work after that. So, Skyview escaped with it, 3-0. But I think Boise is going to be very, very competitive. It'll be interesting to see what they do the rest of the season. Keep an eye on them. And I think they actually might get to 2-2 this week because they play Bora this week. And Bora is really struggling, I guarantee you. They lost 58-7 on Saturday morning to Mountain View. And that game wasn't as close as the final score might indicate.
Yeah, and that's really saying something. So we had the Thursday night game that you were on the call for. Friday night, we brought you the audio-only broadcast of Rocky Mountain against Eagle. Clay Hatfield was on the call for that game. And, Wayne, I thought that game might be a little closer, but I think Rocky was pretty motivated after losing last week, and they win by 20 over Eagle.
Yeah, they lost that game to Mountain View a week ago, and so they did. 48-28 was their final score. Rocky Mountain winning that game. I really felt that would be a close game too. But, like you say, Rocky Mountain doesn't lose very often. They don't take the losing very kindly, and they took it out on Eagle. So they got going early in that game and just never stopped, never looked back.
Yeah, and showing maybe there's a little more separation between those top 3 teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rocky is still, you said earlier on, it's Rocky's season to win or lose. I still think that may be the case. They got shocked by Mountain View. Mountain View is a good team. And we saw that Saturday morning when they just clobbered Bora, and they came out and did everything they wanted to do. But, I really still think that final 48-28 was misleading as to how close those two teams, really, Rocky Mountain's good. Let's put it that way.
Right. And that was kind of the theme in the 5A SIC this past week. There wasn't too many close games. There was the game Thursday night, and then probably the most competitive, most exciting game, Wayne, was the two teams that probably are going to be at the bottom of the standings this year, Cuna and Owyhee. Cuna escapes with the 35-31 win.
The thing about it is it was a conference game. So Cuna's 1-0 in conference play. They're in the River Division, rather. So it's a division game. So Cuna wins it, like you say, 35-31 over Owyhee. Owyee's now struggling at 0-3. I thought they might get a win against Cuna, but the Cavemen came through. They got it done, and pretty impressive that they held on. Pretty impressive they put 35 points on the board.
Yeah, that was a fun game, and now, unfortunately, I think for both of those squads, it's going to be tough to find wins elsewhere on the schedule, right? Some of the other scores, just and to give you an idea of kind of how dominant some of these teams were. Mountain View, of course, beat Bora 58-7 on Saturday morning. You had Meridian defeat Timberline 52-7. And then you had Capital defeat Centennial 41-11. Wayne, is there really just a top six and a bottom six, and the gap is really wide between those teams?
Yeah, when you look at the standings, it pretty much is. That's pretty much what you see all the way across, top six, bottom six. The thing about Meridian, 52-7 win, guess what they did again? They went with the freshman quarterback, Zeke Martinez, and he got it done. He just had another great day. So his big brother, senior Malachi, is having a little bit of an issue. But you know what? Zeke's getting it done. They're going with him, and they've got some backups behind Zeke as well. So when they get a big lead, they can play everybody. Meridian's looking pretty good right now. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They've got a big game coming up against Capital on Thursday night that I get to do, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So to see what they do, because you got Capital 3-0, Meridian at 2-1, and really that one loss was that 1-pointer on a missed field goal on the last play of the game against Mountain View. So I think that's going to be a good one Thursday night right here on IdahoSports.com.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Meridian wasn't in the top 5 in the coaches and media polls this week. It's funny how that works. They were in the preseason top 5, lost by 1 point. Oh, nope. Okay, you're out.
Yeah, you're out of here.
Eagles in. And I've said the whole time Meridian, I think, is better than Eagle. And now maybe we'll see those teams flip-flop their positions. But
Meridian has, I've talked about it, all year long. They've got 3 great big wide receivers, and they got Cross Antonacci, the running back. They have got a lot of offensive firepower, but they're also pretty good on defense. They come at you, they make a lot of things happen. They rush passes, they get in your face if you're a running back. So Meridian's an all-around team, and this season has not unfolded yet. I think Meridian's still they're gonna bounce back from that 1-point loss to Mountain View, and they're gonna make somebody, they're gonna beat somebody that you don't think they should.
Yeah, it'll be fun when these top 6, bottom 6 teams start to play each other. We've seen it a little bit already, but that'll be fun as we get deeper into the season. In the 4A SIC, Wayne, the story of the night was Bishop Kelly and Emmett meeting up in the conference opener, just like they did last year. Last year, Emmett, quote unquote, upset Bishop Kelly, although I think it bore out that Emmett was the better team last year. And it could be the same thing again this year as Emmett shuts out the Knights 21-0.
You know what's interesting about that? Not so much that Emmett won that game again, but the final score. And you know what, Brandon? It was 21-0 at the break. So we're talking about a 0-0 second half between these two teams. And I would have never predicted a shutout, of these two teams against each other in a whole half. They've got too much firepower offensively. And so really kind of a different kind of a game, 21-0 Emmett winning it. And of course you got Emmett coming off a loss, the week before to Weiser. That was a surprise. So I think the 4A is going to be a bunch of surprises as we go along this whole season. It's just going to be every week. You're just going to have to hold your breath and see what happens.
Yeah, Bishop Kelly, we know they love to run the football. And so if you get behind 21-0, it can be difficult to make up that deficit, whereas Emmett has a little more versatility in its offense, and they can run the ball well late in the game to protect leads. They did that so often last year. So, yeah, Emmett 1-0 again. Bishop Kelly 0-1 to start the conference slate there. Mm-hmm. Other conference games from the 4A SIC, you had Middleton defeat Caldwell 70-16. 70 is a lot of points, Wayne.
Yeah, that's at some point you got to pull off the dogs, but they, sometimes you can't. You put the backups in there, and if Caldwell couldn't stop anybody, that you're not going to tell a backup, well, don't go in the end zone if you can, he's going to win the end zone. So it is what it is. They got 70 on the board. You mentioned you're talking about Valley View. They beat Columbia 42-20. So Columbia continues to struggle. NAMPA got back on the winning ways as they beat Ridgeview 35-7. What's interesting about the SIC standings right now, Brandon, is you got Emmett, Middleton, Valley View, NAMPA all at 1-0.
Yeah.
So it's pretty competitive.
I think those four plus Bishop Kelly are all going to be playoff teams this year, and it's just a matter of fighting it out to see who gets first and who gets fifth. And I think those five clearly are ahead of the other three teams in the league. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Ridgeview, Caldwell, and Columbia. I hate to say this, but basically they're there, but they're not going to be contenders this year. So we kind of know what the situation is. So there's going to be a dogfight in 4A, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun to watch as the weeks go along. So yeah, let's transition now to what's coming up this week, Wayne. Again, we're going to put you at Donna Larson Park on Thursday night for that Meridian Capital showdown that you talked about. If Capital wins this game and they go to 4-0, do we put them into that next tier? We've kind of had them in the dark horse status, but do they move up a floor in the penthouse if they get the win this week?
Absolutely, Brandon. I mean, first of all, I said when I called them a dark horse that they were more than a dark horse. I thought, they were a unique situation that he has so many good teams ahead of them that they had to kind of be the second tier to start the season. But boy, I knew all along that they were going to be something to contend with. And sure enough, they're coming on strong. So if they beat Meridian, and I'll tell you what, this game's going to be played at Donald Larson Park. I don't know that really gives Capital that much of an advantage because it's on turf, just as Meridian plays on turf. Meridian plays in a very similar stadium as what Donald Larson Park is. So it's going to be sixes down there. I don't think either team has a big home field advantage for there. So I think it's a straight up game. You're going to sit there and say, who's going to win this one? There's no home field advantage. Is it going to be Meridian or is it going to be Capital? And quite frankly, I'm at a loss. I mean, to me, this is about a toss-up, as close as you can get between these two teams. So it's going to come down to who makes less mistakes. I really do. I think ultimately, I think Capital can win this one. Now, the thing about it is, this Zeke Martinez kid is fantastic. As a freshman, he's showing so much stuff. But as his brother Malachi comes back, then can you imagine the double whammy you got there? The whole Martinez family ganging up on you? No way, Jose. That's going to be tough. So it'd be interesting. I really do. To me, this is just an absolute. If this was on a betting table, I would say this is a push.
I think it's going to be an even matchup across the board, and Wayne, it could be one of those games too where whichever team has the ball last ends up getting the win. Also, we've seen that a couple of times.
Again, it's going to come down to. It may come down to just football luck. Did the ball bounce your way? Did the ball on a punt, did it bounce back 20 yards or bounce forward 20 yards, and that field position cost you the game? It's going to be something like that. So I'm so excited to do this game Thursday night, kickoff 7:00. It'll be a lot of fun to do.
Yep. And then if we look at the Friday slate of games, I think the best game on the schedule is the game that we're going to be having audio coverage of, Eagle at Mountain View. I think that is potentially, Eagle has kind of faced adversity now and can get back in the driver's seat with a nice showing against Mountain View.
You know what? Mountain View absolutely dominated Bora. I said it at the time. It was an 11:00 kickoff in the morning on Saturday morning, and there was no question that Bora came with no spunk. Mountain View came with a lot of spunk. And it was like, who woke up first? And it was Mountain View that woke up, and they just got her done. It was 7-7 early, but the Bora score, and the only score of the game, was kind of a fluke. It was a high pass to Brady Toth. He caught it, took it in for the touchdown. I was shocked it was completed to begin with, shocked that nobody was around him when he caught it, and he took it in. And I said, well, at least maybe we'll have a game. And that lasted about 5 minutes, and it was all over after that. So I'm real impressed with Mountain View. They got a lot of talented people. Dallas Slocum, Quintez Evans at running back. Wall, the quarterback, is good. They've got some good wide receivers, and their defense is getting better and better and better. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Eagle. Can Eagle bounce back after that loss, that disappointing loss? You know what? I don't think so at Mountain View. I think Mountain View is going to win this one by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, and then I think the only other the third most interesting game to me on the slate overall would be Timberline at Cuna, and that's a game that we're going to have on IdahoSports.com as well. Paul Kingsbury is going to be on the call for that one because you've got Cuna riding the wave a little bit, right? They're finally got a win over Owyhee, and then you've got Timberline, who suffered their first loss of the season last week. And so how do each of these teams respond to their recent fortune?
Yeah, I agree. I think Cuna, when you look at what Cuna's done this year, they had to go up to Lewiston to start the season. That we kind of knew was going to be a loss, but they played competitively, and so they're 1-2 overall, but they're 1-0 in the river right now. And so they play Timberline, and Timberline's 0-1 in the conference, 2-1 overall. I think this is going to be an interesting game, and it's at Cuna, and Cuna plays well at home. There is a home field advantage there. So it'll be interesting to see how Timberline rebounds from that, if they can or can't, because they took a hurting at Meridian the other day.
Yeah, so that'll be a fantastic matchup as well. And all the games we just talked about are on IdahoSports.com. We'll have audio coverage of those games. If you want to see the full schedule of games statewide, you can click on the Game Streams tab on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. The other games, we talked about Owyhee at Skyview. Hawks a great chance to go to 4-0. You've got Rocky Mountain playing Centennial. That's probably going to be a nice game for Rocky. And then the rivalry game, right? Boise and Bora. Describe for those that don't know, Wayne, the rivalry between Boise and Bora. It's a good one.
Well, it's a good one because it's been, one of those that's lasted the ages. It's been there. I mean, those are the two original schools in the city, and they were right there. And everything started with Boise and Bora. And of course, early on, Bora was such a dominant team statewide. During the D. Pancratz days, it was just all Bora, 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 and they just kept coming at you. And Boise's got great athletics. They got a great track and field team. They got a good basketball team. They're great in soccer all the way around. And football was good. I mean, there were days when they'd have 5,000-6,000 people at those two games, and now it's that way in anywhere in high school football in Idaho. But still, when those two get together, there's something about it. Boise, Bora, it's exciting. Bora is hungry. I mean, they are coming off a real beating at the hands of Mountain View. They haven't won a game this year. Boise can even their season at 2-2. I feel they've got a pretty good quarterback. This Anderson kid, like I say, he's a lefty. He hangs in there. He's got some good receivers. He finds them. He throws a hard ball, nice tight spiral. So I like what I see with these guys. I think Boise's going to win that game. Unfortunately, I would like to see Bora get off the snide and get a win. They're one of those teams that have been around forever. But Bora's got some struggles, and they just were not able to stop anybody on defense. I mean, I don't know the exact, I can't remember, but they've given up like 49, 48, 58 points, something like that. So they probably averaging right around 50 points a game to give it up defensively. That is not going to help your offense.
Yeah, it's a tough way to try and go about things for sure. In the 4A SIC, Wayne, we talked about that top five. We've got two matchups pitting top five teams against each other. The one I think I'm most excited about is Valley View at Middleton. We will have video coverage of that game on IdahoSports.com. Winner of this game will be 2-0 and in the catbird seat in the conference standings.
Yeah, Middleton, I kind of thought they might beat Minico, so I was a little surprised. But again, that's one of those learning experiences. It was one of those cross-state games that everybody likes to see once in a while rather than just in the playoffs. And so, but what it really counted was for nothing. I mean, it doesn't count in the standings. It doesn't do anything. So, yeah, you're right. When these two go at it, on Friday night at Middleton, the Vikings have a huge home field advantage. There's no question about it. Valley View, again, still sticking with a run. They've been a run-oriented team for a while, so they can't afford to get behind Middleton too far. Middleton's got a good quarterback. He'll come at you, and so I think Valley View's got to come out strong on this one, or Middleton's going to come away with a win.
Yeah, me personally, I've been a little underwhelmed by Valley View so far this year. Wayne.
Yeah,
I know they're 2-1, but they had the loss to Twin Falls. They had the very tight game with Hillcrest, which is not a very good team from East Idaho. So Valley View, this could go a long way in proving to people that they do have what it takes to be a contender this year. So the other big game. Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah,
you're 100% correct, Brandon.
I'm going to save that clip. I'm going to pull that out later.
Okay.
Yeah. The other big one is NAMPA at Bishop Kelly. I think, the Knights, if they don't turn it around quick here, they could be in an 0-2 hole, and NAMPA with a win could be 2-0 and also tied for first. So this is a big game too.
I haven't been able to figure out BK yet. I really have not. I was shocked at that 21-0 score. When I saw that, I said, this got to be a misprint. So I'm a little bit surprised at that one. But NAMPA, again, on the 4A side was my dark horse. They were 6-3 a year ago, everybody remembers. So here they are coming into this one. What are they now? They're 1-2, which surprised me a little bit, but they played up a little bit too. So, they played they started with a 5A team and the whole bit. And they started with Capital, in fact, my others. We have the dark horses going at it right off the get-go. And Capital, we're seeing just how good Capital is. So NAMPA, if NAMPA really, really believes that they can win, I think they can upset BK again. Although this game is at BK, and Bishop Kelly always plays well on that grass field. Although at Bulldog Stadium, it's grass too. So, but they just play well down at BK. BK's, they're stumping me. I don't know who they are for real. One week they look good. One week they don't look good at all. And I mean, it's not like any in between there. So if the good BK team shows up, I think they'll win it. If they don't, Nampa's going to take it.
Yeah, you look at NAMPA and they're 1-2. Well, their two losses are two teams that haven't lost yet, Skyview and Capital, right?
Exactly.
They're both undefeated. So
exactly, that's what I was saying about playing up. Those are two 5A teams that they've lost to. So, they're playing pretty well right now. They're undefeated in 4A action.
Yep. Other games of note, you've got Caldwell at Columbia. Somebody's going to get off the schneid there. Somebody's going to get their first win of the year, which is always exciting. And then you have Emmett at Ridgeview to wrap up. So
Ridgeview looks, they just don't have the horsepower this year. So Emmett will win that game. Ridgeview just going to have to go through the season and grow up and learn and get better, and just learn what they need to do to win. So they're going to take their lumps this year, no question about it. And I think Emmett will give them some lumps on Friday night.
Yep, for sure. Well, before we sign off here, Wayne, of course, we've got some gold stars to give out, our weekly feature where we hand out gold stars, helmet stickers, pride stickers, whatever you want to call it, for performances that we thought were truly noteworthy. And I think we got two pretty good ones this week.
I'll go first this week because I let you go first last week, okay? And not only that, we've talked a lot about Skyview. I talked about David Young's 100th victory. I've talked about Skyview being undefeated, maybe going to 4-0 this week with the win over Owyhee. That's my prediction anyway. But I'm going to go with Antonio Fafita, their running back. When I say the running back, he's running back, linebacker. He's a little bit of everything the other day in that game. Against Boise, he just did a great job. He had a pick six. And it's always fun to watch your running back. Once he gets the ball, he turns into a running back. So the DB picks, he had a pick six, he had 3 sacks, he rushed for a touchdown, had 4 receptions in the game, had 6 tackles. I mean, you can't be any more diverse than that than Antonio Fafita was. He really did a good job. And we made him our player, IdahoSports.com player of the game. And I'm going to give him the gold star because really it was pretty impressive performance by him. He did a good job.
Yeah, he was all over the place, offensively and defensively. Earlier this summer, Wayne, every summer we broadcast the Idaho All-State games. It's the all-star football games for 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Well, the 8th grade squad had a running back from Skyview, and he was the 2-time offensive MVP. He won it in 7th grade and 8th grade. And I asked him, I said, are there any guys that you look up to that are playing at Skyview High right now? And he said, oh yeah, Antonio Fafita. That's who I want to be like when I get to high school. So he's making an impact, not just at Skyview High, but in that community as well.
That's cool. That's neat.
Yeah. Yep. My gold star I'm going to give also to a running back, Thompson Goodfellow from Middleton. Now you might look at his rushing total and say, well, he only rushed for like 60 yards. He carried the ball 6 times, had 60 yards. But Wayne, 5 of the 6 times he carried the ball, he was dancing in the end zone. 5 of the 6 times he carried the ball, he scored a touchdown.
I don't think I've ever. You told me that stat the other day. I was talking to you about who your gold star was going to be, and you told me that it was going to be Goodfellow. And I said, what did he do? He said, well, he carried the ball 6 times for 5 TDs. And I said, no way, Jose. He didn't do that. And he said, yeah, he did. And there he goes.
I guess that's how Middleton puts up 70 points, right?
Well, I tell you what, man, if you can keep that percentage up, you're not only going to win high school football's player of the year, but you may be, put in there for the Heisman voting. Those are pretty good numbers right there.
Yeah, a good stat line for sure. So a pair of running backs are gold star winners this week, Antonio Fafita from Skyview and Thompson Goodfellow from Middleton. Well, I'm excited about the slate of games coming up, Wayne. What's you got any Boise State stuff going on this week?
Well, we got Oklahoma State on Saturday night, so I've got to do the pregame for Oklahoma State, Boise State, and you talk about being busy. Tomorrow we can't get them live, so we're gonna talk to the Oklahoma State play-by-play guy, Dave Hunsaker, tomorrow, and record him, get him on the show. So a lot of fun, a lot of stuff going on. But I do want to mention a couple of things. Boys soccer 5A Timberline right now, ruling the roost, 8-0-1. In 4A, Caldwell at 6-2, BK not far behind at 5-2. Girls, Rocky Mountain soccer team 8-1, doing well. The girls in 4A, a little tight race there. You got Valley View 4-3, Middleton 3-2, and BK at 3-3-1. So really, it's anybody's ball game there. And last night in soccer, boys, Eagle beat Capital 4-1. Ethan Cutler had a couple of goals. Mustangs are 4-3-1. And girls volleyball, really, how about Skyview 7-1? Just off to a great start. Middleton and Columbia 4-1, 3-1 respectively in 4A volleyball. So they're off to a good start. And the one thing I wanted to talk about, what a great job. Rocky Mountain won both the girls and boys cross-country meet that was held over in Idaho Falls during the week. That IdahoSports.com, and I believe it was for the first time ever, covered a cross-country meet, and that's pretty cool for IdahoSports.com to do. I know we're both members of IdahoSports.com, but I was impressed. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was out there in the sun. I actually didn't wear sunscreen, so I got torched.
Oh, so you got torched, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Rocky Mountain came over and won the boys and the girls team titles, and which was really impressive. And I know that was good competition for the Eastern Idaho schools and good motivation as they look down the road at state in late October for cross country as well. So,
well, they don't get much pub, so I got to throw this out. I've got 2 grandkids. Zach, who runs for the Rocky Mountain boys, and Chloe, who runs for the Rocky Mountain girls. And they did well, and they finished well, and they helped Rocky Mountain to win both the boys and girls. So, you know what? I got to give them a little pub because, cross country, they go out there and I tell you what, they break their necks running those courses. And I couldn't go 100 yards, and they do it every week. And so congratulations to them. And congratulations to Rocky Mountain as a team.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're already getting other meet organizers asking, "Hey, can you come broadcast our cross country meet?" So I think we're onto something here, Wayne, with cross country.
I like it. I was very impressed. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to make mention of it before we got out of here.
Yeah, of course. So we'll talk some cross country and soccer, and hopefully the smoke stays away. I know some games got postponed last week because of smoke and things like that. And of course, we'll have plenty of football and volleyball to talk about next week as well on the SIC Prepcast presented by D.L. Evans Bank.
Yeah, thank you, D.L. Evans. I really appreciate it. Here they go. They say they help you with everything next. Okay, and this is the community banking. So D.L. Evans Bank, thank you. We love having you here as our podcast sponsor.
Absolutely. So you can get this podcast wherever you download your podcasts. You can also listen to it on our website, IdahoSports.com. There's a Prepcasts section across the top of the navigation bar on the homepage, and it drops down with all of our podcasts. You can also watch the video of this on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page. All right, Wayne, we'll see you back here next week. Right. Good luck with all the games. All right.
Well, have fun. You have fun as well. I know you do a lot of stuff over there, so you have a blast.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So for Wayne DeZubak, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for listening/watching the SIC Prepcast from IdahoSports.com.